Well, I'm just outside of Tottori. I'm not quite in Tottori yet. I'm headed east, and I'm like right at the border of the area, and then I'll be actually in the middle of the city in about maybe 40 minutes or so. But I stopped to use the toilet and to grab a little coffee. My hair is messy because I've been wearing my hat. I'm gonna grab my tripod out of the back and set that up for you because I'd like for you all to be able to like see the countryside while I'm driving along. It's been very beautiful. It's been a beautiful drive. If you ever have the chance to drive in Japan, drive through the countryside and take the back roads, not the tollways, I highly recommend you do that because you can see some very beautiful places. But before we hop in the van and drive, there's something I want to show you. Do you remember the poll that I did and I asked you, what am I picking up for my house? And I showed you 4 different things. Well, it's right here in the back of my van, and I'm going to show it to you right now. All right? Here we go. Check it out. That's right. I now officially have a bathtub, a full-size, non-Toto Japanese-size bathtub. This is a real full-size bathtub. This thing is this thing is quite large. It's solid. It's a display model, so it's never actually been used. So it only has a couple of scratches from where it was displayed, but it's never actually been used for bathing. It's just been a display model. So it's in excellent condition. I got it for 13,000 yen, so just a little over $100. Pretty great, I think. And the guy gave me also these shower doors. These are the folding shower doors that you can put on a stand-up shower. He just gave them to me for free. I didn't know if I would be able to build a shower like that at my house, but if I do, I've got free shower doors. If not, I can probably sell them to somebody, maybe make a few dollars. But anyway, that's the really cool thing that I was able to pick up. It was the main reason why I drove over here, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make this trip, because I can't just make a trip for nothing. Not not right now anyway, but I can definitely make a trip for a huge bathtub for just $100. That's within my budget, and I'm really hoping to get that hooked up soon so that I can have a proper indoor bath at home, not just for showering, but actually soaking in the tub. And this one is really big, so it's actually big enough for 2 people to hop in there. So, maybe one day that will become a reality. Anyway, I've got my tripod here. I'm going to try to set this up. The cool thing is I have this new tripod quick release. You can see it right here. And what this part up here holds my phone, and right here this has like a pistol on it, and when you let go of it, it won't move, but as soon as you squeeze it, you can move it around, you see? And as soon as you let go, it just stays in that spot. So it's very quick. You can turn it around, move it up and down, and all over. It's very cool. You put it in one position and it let go of it, and it's locked in that position. It's very cool. And with this, I think that if I make a video while I'm driving or when I'm doing other things, but especially while I'm driving, I can move it around, and I can show myself, or I can show the surroundings. I can show in the front or the side without being distracted from driving. But anyway, I'm going to set this up right quick. And first, before I do that, I'm going to put the phone right here. Yeah, I'll be taking a bath soon, that's right. But Warren, how's it going? It's good to see you. Oh, Philippe, good to see you too. How are you guys doing? Welcome. I appreciate you joining me for the live chat. I haven't done a video in a while. I do have some things to edit when I get home, and I'll upload those. But I haven't done a live video in a while either, so I decided I would do that. And I'm glad that you could stop in and check it out. As soon as I get the camera on my tripod here in the van, I'm going to take off down the road and let you guys enjoy a little bit of the countryside. Have you ever been to Tottori? This is my first time in this area, so I'm grateful to be here. You probably don't know this yet, but during this trip, I was actually able to go to Ine, and in Ine, it's way up north Kyoto, like way up on the Sea of Japan, and there's a little harbor out there, a little bay that's kind of protected from the big waves from the ocean. And in that area is where DIY Japan, or Danny, lives. If you're not familiar with him, he has a YouTube channel, DIY Japan, and he invited me to come over, and I spent a couple of days there, and we hung out, we chatted, we checked out some local stuff. I had some local food, and he showed me what he was working on. I helped him a little bit, not too much. We didn't do too much, but we were able to relax and chat, and we shot a little bit of video. You'll be seeing that later on. He's got some video to post on his channel that's going to be really funny and interesting. And then for my channel, I just have a little bit of footage and some pictures and stuff that I took while I was there with him, and I'll be sharing that with you probably this weekend, because it's not a lot, but when I get back, I can edit that and put it together so you can see it. But right now, I'm going to see if I can just get this setup so you can see some kind of view of where I'm driving here. All right, here we go. There's that. Okay, that's looking good. I'm glad that I remembered to bring this tripod, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this for you. Okay, here we go. Now let's transfer the camera right up here. There we go. See, now I can just grab the pistol grip, you see? Just as quickly as I want to move it, I can move it, let go, and it's perfect, right? Pretty cool, huh? I think that's pretty neat. Now if I need to talk to you straight, I can just turn around and face me. But if I want to show you the scenery over here, or in front of the car, or even over here to my right, I can just move the camera around. See, it's very easy. Very quick, very easy. 360 degrees, any direction. Oops, excuse me. Any direction, just as quickly as I want to move it around. Yeah, that's cool, Philippe. Yeah, I think Lemmy-chan will be live streaming any moment now, right? Maybe in the next 15 minutes or so. Maybe it. I'm not sure, but I knew that I wouldn't be able to watch her video while I'm driving because I need to get on the road. But I figured that I would do a live stream. I need some more hours. I haven't posted much recently, and I need some more watch hours. Oh, in 5 minutes. Okay, gotcha. Excellent. Well, I appreciate you multitasking, Philippe. I appreciate you giving us both time, because I definitely don't want to take away from her minutes, but I appreciate you, doing both to help us both out. That's great. I've got my Sada Tahiko low sugar coffee latte. I love Sada Tahiko coffee. If you've ever been to Tokyo, you should go to Sada Tahiko. My favorite one is at Harajuku Station, Harajuku Eki. If you go upstairs, there's a Sada Tahiko cafe. They've got great paninis and excellent matcha lattes. Yes, and this one's perfect because it has no sugar. No sugar. They have 3 different ones in the store now. One's just black, one's cream and sugar, and then this one is just cream. So let me hook up my power. Thank you. I will do my best to have a safe drive. I got a little donut here for energy, which I shouldn't really be eating, but I'm trying to stay energetic and awake. Okay. It would help if I put the keys in the ignition, right? All right. Lamborghini. Nissan edition. Yosh. Okay. Hey Glenn, welcome to the live feed. Nothing really exciting. I'm just going to show some countryside on my way to and through Tottori. But let me turn the camera around so you guys can see what I see. Where's it at? Maybe right here? Nope. Maybe right here? Yep, that's right. I can't see the button because the camera's right there. That's pretty interesting. Let's first turn the camera this way. You can see that I'm in front of Lawson right now. So we're about to back up and head towards Tottori. Tottori. I don't know what the signal's like out here, but it seems like it should be okay. All right. Okay. Nobody's coming. And there we are. Let's see if I can give you the best possible view here. There we go. All right, I forget the name of this town, but this is somewhere between Ine, which if you're just now joining, or if you missed the other part, I was in Ine in the north tip of Kyoto visiting with Danny from DIY Japan, and I just left his place a few hours ago and said goodbye, and after that I grabbed something to eat and jumped on the road. Now I am about 40 minutes or so, roughly 40 minutes from the center of Tottori. I'm about to cross over right now from what I believe is, I'm not sure if it's Hyogo. It might be Hyogo. I don't know if Hyogo's up this far. I'm not looking at my map right now. I'm using my phone to multitask. I've got actually my map and my live stream going at the same time. Probably not recommended to do that, but I've got my earphones on, listening to the directions. Hopefully the directions will be correct without me having to see the map. Anyway, I want you guys to see a little bit of this countryside. That's why I decided to do the live stream. If you've never had a chance rather, to drive in Japan, there's a difference between driving on the tollways and then driving on the back roads, the non-tollways. I realized that I can go into the settings of Google Maps and set it to no tolls, no toll roads. And if you set it to that, then every road that you drive on is free. Now, the good thing about that, besides saving money, is that you get to see some really beautiful scenery and a lot of towns and just some interesting places. Maybe even find some cafes and things, shops that you would never see ever on a toll road. The downside, of course, is that you don't get to where you're going as fast, and in some cases it can add a significant amount of time onto your trip. Just for example, when I was wanting to go from Hiroshima to, the kid is just walking way too close to the road. When I was wanting to drive from Hiroshima to Himeji, or well, ultimately to Shiga, just past Kyoto. The the trip was originally going to take like just under 6 hours total time, but it actually wound up taking 5 hours just to get to Himeji, which is about 65% of the way of the whole trip. And the reason is because I didn't take the toll road. I took the winding, slow, scenic routes. But I absolutely highly recommend that you do that. If you like road trips, you like to look at beautiful scenery, and you have a few good friends who enjoy the same thing, then absolutely, I recommend you do that. I don't know if you can see this if I turn the camera. The ocean is out there. Can you see the ocean? I have to look at the road, so I can't see from that side if you can see it, but we tried. This pistol grip tripod is really awesome. It's so handy. I can move stuff around without being dangerous in my driving. It's looking good so far, right? You like this view? If any of you haven't been to Japan, or for those of you who haven't been to Japan, maybe this will be a cool way for you to check it out. Oh, look, there's a beach down here. So you can probably see if I turn the camera, you can probably see a little bit of the ocean. Let's try turning it this way so you can see. How about that? Can you see that? Just a little bit of a beachfront here. That's pretty cool. You could actually, if you had a house down here, you could just walk down to this little beach and go out in the water, I guess. Okay, this pretty interesting, right? All right, just a little seafront town. Might lose the connection here inside the tunnel. We'll see. Try to get through here in a hurry. It's a short tunnel though, it's not very long. Yeah, no big deal. Anyway, I thought I would kind of recap what I did. Oh yeah. Not sure why they're stopping. Okay, the guy's telling us to go. Okay, so we can go. Yeah, I think there was a lot of work going on out here because of the rain. Yeah. It's probably going to disconnect again here in just a moment. So, just a second, I'll wait. Okay, I think it should be good now. It looks like it's okay. Basically, there's a lot of rain. Oh, you can definitely see the ocean now. See that? Nice view, huh? Pretty cool. Just right on the ocean. Just right here. That's the Sea of Japan right over there. Back into the tunnel. Okay. I was waiting until I was kind of far out of the tunnel just to wait on my connection. Okay, in 500 meters, turn left towards Tottori. Okay. Let me turn my windshield wipers on intermittent. Turn left right here towards Igumi and Tottori. All right. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Several days ago, I left East Hiroshima and I headed towards Shiga. Shiga is just east of Kyoto City, and maybe 45 minutes to an hour at most, depending on traffic, to get to Shiga from Kyoto City. Excuse me. And at a second-hand shop, that's where I picked up my bathtub. And on the way there, since it was such a long drive, I decided to do a stop at a halfway point. Let me pause right here because there's a tunnel. This is kind of a long tunnel. Can't see the other end. Higashihama, East Hama. Now's a good time for me to have a swig of my coffee. Bite of donut, cake. Higashihama end of East Hama. Interesting. Iwami town. All right. Yeah, way out here. There's a town. I think it's hard to see from this point here, but the sea is out there. Sea of Japan is out there, and there's some houses and stuff. It's pretty quaint, cute, and quaint. But back to what I was saying, I didn't want to drive all those toll-free ways for like 9 straight hours. So instead, I drove like the 5 hours to Himeji from Hiroshima, and stayed the night at a capsule hotel there. And that was a good decision because it gave me a better chance to rest, and I didn't have to be in such a hurry to make it to that store on time. Because I went to that store last Sunday, and they were going to close at 5 o'clock. If I had left my house from Hiroshima at or that morning, that's a 9-hour drive. That means a really long drive to try to get there by the time they close at 5 o'clock. And I didn't want to do that. So instead, I left Saturday night. And there was another reason for that. There was a really big storm. Heavy thunderstorms and rain were coming into Hiroshima on Saturday night. And I got a warning saying that those heavy thunderstorms were going to persist until 12 o'clock noon the next day. So from like 9 o'clock p.m. until noon the next day, there were going to be heavy thunderstorms and potential flooding and landslides. Oh, it seems like the tunnel messed with my connection again. But anyway, Saturday night, I went in and got all my stuff together really quickly, jumped in the van, and I made a reservation. drove straight to Himeji and stayed there and got up early the next day, so that worked. We got another tunnel, so I might lose the connection. I'll just hang on a second till I get out. Dun, 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 dun. Uradome. Uradome. So, it was an excellent decision for me to wait, or rather to leave early from Hiroshima and then to wait in Himeji for one night and rest and sleep, and then continue on the next day to Shiga through Kyoto. It was a good decision. After I got the tub and was given the free shower doors, I then went to my little hotel in Kyoto, and I stayed there for about a day and a half. Visited Nijo Castle again. It's my second time. No, technically it's my third time there, but the first time I didn't really look around so much. It's my second time to pay to go in the garden and get closer to the buildings and stuff. Hang on a second. One more tunnel. Iwami. This guy's slowing down. Okay, so a day and a half, like I said, in Kyoto. I didn't do too much. The only thing that I really did was I had a couple of meals at some places that I don't have in Hiroshima. I went to Nijo Castle and walked around. I didn't go inside, but I did walk around the outside. Took some pictures, and then I watched a movie. I don't know if any of you, or who among you have seen the movie Megan. Have you seen the Megan movie? It's basically about the young girl whose parents die in a car crash, and her aunt takes custody of her and builds this AI robot that becomes like her best friend, and the girl basically becomes attached to the robot, and then the robot becomes more and more self-aware. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's one of the coolest, most unique movies I've seen in a long time. It's not a horror movie. It's like a drama / suspense type movie. It's not like Child's Play or anything. It's not like a full-blown horror movie, but I really liked it. It's not perfect. It has some things that I wish they would have done better, but it was pretty good. So I watched that in Toho Cinema, and then after that I drove out to meet Danny from DIY Japan. I followed him out to his house in Ine, and I got to kind of see the behind the scenes, of what his house actually looks like in person, what all he's accomplished there, and the projects that he has left to do, and we just had a good time chatting and visiting. It was pretty cool. Also got to visit a couple of local cafes and restaurants, which was pretty nice. Another tunnel. Hang on a second. Alrighty, looks like we got another tunnel coming up, but this one doesn't look very long, so maybe the connection issue won't be bad. I just saw a sign for Tottori City, so we're officially in the main outer edge of the city. So yay! This is Hosokawa Tunnel. Hosokawa Tunnel is bright. They've got more lights in here. Maybe Tottori spends more money in their tunnels than other places. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, there's a nice river off to the left, but a little too dangerous. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, that's right. My name is Sean Connery. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so anyway, that was the second main thing of my trip, was to visit Danny in Ine. And like I said, we didn't do too much as far as video stuff. Don't expect like a big video update or anything. I just have a small video just to show you a few pictures of him and I, and some very short video about what we did, and a little box that he built for his exhaust fan, and he also built a shelf for his sound bar. And so it wasn't anything major, but it was cool to be there and just hang out and chat about a variety of things. Here it says Tottori Sand Dune. Have any of you heard about that? The sand dune in Tottori? I'm not sure what it's for. I don't know if you just go out there and look at it, or you hang out, or you can drive on it. I don't know. Have you heard of it? It's news to me. All I know about Tottori is the hot springs. I think that they have some hot springs here that are supposed to be popular, right? Excuse me. Got another tunnel coming up. Don't know how long it is. Yeah, see, some of you are leaving me some messages. But what I need to do is, once I get into like the main part of the city here, I need to find an exit, take a break, check my messages, Oh man, as soon as I come out of this tunnel, I'll go straight into another one. That's the exit I'm supposed to take also. I'm supposed to go to the left. right here. Okay, take the exit on the left and then slight left. If you say so, then that's what I'll do. Okay, everybody, welcome to the city of Tottori. Slight left. Slight left. Okay. It could just say go left or turn left. It doesn't have to say slight left. The green arrow just suddenly disappeared on me, but nobody's coming, so that's all good. All right, let's see what time it is here. So 26 minutes. So I've been live streaming for about 30 minutes or so, and I did get here a little bit faster than I thought I would. I thought it'd be about 40 minutes. It seems to have been about 30 minutes. Maybe it was because of traffic. Maybe traffic was not as bad as Google Maps thought it would be. That's possible. As you can see in the video, there really wasn't much traffic at all. Let's see if there's a nice, decent, spacious place to stop. So I need to check your messages to see if there's anything I need to respond to. And then, after that, just check my other messages, because I'm waiting on responses from some other people. And then check my route. My van is talking to me again. 200 meters, turn left. I'd like to do that, but I think that's right here. Yeah. But I also need to find a place to stop. There's a bowling, a shopping, kind of a shopping mall and bowling center over there. Let's see if you can see that right over there. Interesting. Oh, this guy's trying to get out, but I've already pulled up too much, so I can't let him out. Womp. Well, this doesn't seem like a bad town. I don't know what the population is of Tottori. Let's see if I can see your messages. Okay. Yeah, found in Japan. Yes, this is live. I am live right now. Very first house I ever looked at was in Tottori. Oh, cool. That's cool, Glenn. Hyogo is coast to coast. Yeah, okay, then that's what I went through. Cool, thanks for telling me. I wasn't for sure because I wasn't looking at the map. I saw that there was a border, and I knew it wasn't Kyoto, so I assumed it was Hyogo, but I just wasn't for sure because I don't have the map memorized, you know. But I was right, so thank you. I don't like to assume if I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys understand. It's not good to assume if you're not absolutely sure. Oh, there's a Coco's Family Restaurant right over here. If you've never eaten there, it's a nice family restaurant in Japan. Coco's is probably my favorite family restaurant. I did try the one called Joyful for the first time in Saratown, which is about 35 minutes from my house. And that one was really nice, I think. I feel like the portion of food that you get, the portion size, is actually pretty nice and bigger than it looks on the menu. So I was quite happy about that. Man, these kids standing right on the edge of the road make me so nervous. I wish they wouldn't stand so close to the edge of the road, and they're just standing there without any parent or guardian, you know. They're just standing there by themselves. It makes me nervous, especially since I heard a bad story from one of my students in China about a young girl just running out across the road suddenly, getting hit by a bus. Absolutely horrible. So That would be my worst nightmare. So every time I see people, especially kids, standing right by the edge of the road, I always slow down and watch them very carefully. Okay, there's a 7-Eleven up here. So I'm going to pull in there since it's on my side of the road. It'll be easy for me to pull in and pull out. I'll pull in there for a second, respond to some more of these messages, check my other messages, and I think they'll call it a video. I just wanted to have a short video with you guys while I was driving here, and I accomplished that. All right, pull right in here. So I was at Lawson and now I'm at 7-Eleven. I'm just hitting all the kombinis, right? So what else do I need to get? I need to get Family Mart, Mini Stop, Daily, Yamazaki. I've got lots of others to get. Let me turn this around. There we go. Awesome. My map is still telling me where to go. It's saying head northwest, head this way, head that way. I'm going to check your messages right quick and see what you guys have been saying. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. The last message I read was Hyogo's Coast to Coast. Thank you. That's right. And like riding shotgun. Cool, Glenn. Next time you come here, you should ride shotgun. I'll drive you around. And playtime. Watching your route as you move along. Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Like where I'm at right now is central Tottori, kind of right in the middle. And I have a friend and subscriber who lives around here. I'm not sure if he has time tonight. I can't talk. I'm not sure if he has time tonight or not before I leave, but I wanted to get here and kind of relax. I'm thinking about staying if I think I can get a place to stay here. It's like a kind of a shared capsule type hotel, and it's only about 3,000 yen. I'm thinking about just staying and resting. Maybe if there's a reasonably priced onsen or something, to check out one of those, and then just get up, in the morning and finish heading back to Hiroshima. It'd be a much shorter drive instead of driving all of it today, but I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me check my map here and see how far. Okay, well that's strange. Whenever I selected over to my maps, it appears that it disconnected me from YouTube. So now I'm back. Basically what I just did was I opened the Google map to see how far it is, how much longer it is from here to my house. And it's going to be 4 hours. 4 hours driving. And right now it's 3:30 in the afternoon. So if I drove straight through without stopping, it would be 7:30 in the evening when I got back. And I'm thinking that I might stop. So I'm going to check my that booking that I looked at earlier. I didn't select it because it looked like they had plenty of rooms. The price is cheap. It's only 3,000. So I'm going to take a look at that. I might go ahead and book that and just stay here tonight and take my time and relax. Like I said, I might even go to a laundromat. I know it sounds crazy to do that while I'm on the road, but I've got a Costco bag of dirty clothes that I brought, and I've used clean clothes almost every single day on my trip, but now all my clothes in my bag are dirty. The last clean clothes I'm wearing, like this is my last clean shirt. It would be nice to get those washed and dried before I actually get home. So, because in this weather right now, it'll take my clothes a really long time to dry. So I might just do that here and get a place to stay, rest for the night, give my legs a chance to kind of recover. For those of you who don't know, I have anemia symptoms and edema, so sitting a lot is no good, but also doing a lot of activity is no good. I have to try to find a balance in between the two. So I don't want to overdo it by driving like 9 hours or something like that. I think that getting to Tottori was kind of my halfway point, and then I can rest and then take my time tomorrow and get back at a decent time rather than trying to rush to get back by dark tonight. I don't like showing up at my house when it's just completely dark and late. It's just not my preference. But anyway, I see that I've got 6 of you in the chat right now, and oh, I got some more messages here. Oh, Glenn, just changed my trip now, 9 weeks in Japan. That's awesome, man. Excellent. Where do you plan to be besides over here? Yeah, it is quite a drive. Found in Japan, it is quite a drive, and oh man, 500 to 600 yen. Washing the clothes seems to be not very expensive, but drying them for some reason, you just have to keep feeding the yen in to get it up enough to get them completely dry. And it is cool that they have the really huge washing machines and the monstrous dryers, so you can just basically toss all of your clothes in there at one time. But it definitely saves me some money if I wash them at home, and then if I just dry like my blankets, the big things that I can't easily and quickly dry at home. I like to take my comforters, my sheets, my pillowcases, and my bed pad and all that stuff. I like to take that and wash it and dry it at the actual laundromat, because they're so huge. I can only put like one blanket or whatever in my washing machine at a time. It's not really good for washing blankets. Okinawa, Osaka, Kyoto, and Nara. Oh, I think I can. I don't know why my van's still running. I could just kill it. Maybe Wakayama, definitely back to Shikoku. Oh, awesome. I still haven't been to Okinawa. There are only 2 areas in Japan where I haven't spent any time. One is Okinawa and the other is Hokkaido. I've been in Sapporo airport, but I was I was in the airport for a few hours, and I was just wandering around checking out their food and the shops and stuff. But it was a flight on my way back to China. I didn't have time to go into the city or see anything there. So Hokkaido and Okinawa are on my list of places to go to. Found in Japan says, near my house is a Family Mart laundry. It's 100 yen for 10 minutes of drying, 300 yen to normally dry 1 load of clothes. Okay, well, it's interesting because the coin laundry in Toyosaka, I believe, is 8 minutes for 100 yen, and for a full load, not even a complete load. Like I don't take a huge amount of clothes to dry. Now sometimes, like I said, I do have like the comforters, the futons, the bed pads, my pillowcases, and all of that stuff, and those are pretty big, and I'll take those and it'll be a full load. But let's just say I take like my Costco bag of clothes. It's maybe 3 pairs of pants, 5 or 6 shirts, some underwear, socks, things like that, and wash those and toss them in the dryer. That's going to take 45 minutes or so. And 45 minutes divided by 8, that's not cheap. For drying stuff, that's not cheap. So I do much prefer to hang my stuff out. But right now there's so much rain. Like right now it's raining. Of course, we're not in Hiroshima, but there is a lot of rain there right now. So hanging my clothes out to dry when I need them to dry in a hurry is not possible. So that's why I always go to the secondhand store and look for a dryer. I wish that I'd bought that dryer. I think one day Evelyn was here and we went into the secondhand shop, and I was debating about whether or not to buy the dryer that they had. They had a couple of used dryers, and I really wanted to get it, and I thought the price was too good to be true, and I thought maybe it was just too cheap, and so I decided to wait. But since then, the only one I've seen is like overpriced. It was about 10,000 yen more than that other one that I saw. So these dryers, for some reason, are way overpriced. Some of you probably know this, but when you want to buy stuff like uh, large appliances, washers, dryers, and refrigerators in Japan, they are not cheap. It's cheaper to buy bigger appliances in America than it is to buy these small Japan sized appliances like the small refrigerator and the small washer and the dryers. The dryer's not very popular. They don't have many dryers here. You go into an appliance store, you're going to see about 1,000 different washing machines for your clothes, and maybe one or two clothes dryers. But most people just hang them up. So if you want to buy a dryer, it's difficult to find. You have to go to certain stores or you order them online. But like I said, they're all overpriced, just like a lot of things in Japan. Tools are overpriced, a lot of materials are overpriced, the appliances are overpriced and undersized. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get an old Akiya in Japan or a house in Japan and buy a big refrigerator, go to Costco and stock it up, good luck. I mean, you can do it, but it's going to cost you a lot more than you think. Probably more expensive to buy a huge refrigerator and stove in Japan than it is to buy an Akiya in Japan, and that's just the truth. Let's see here. I've been a lifesaver on the day coming back from camping, just being able to watch 4 to 5 people's stuff to wash and dry. Yes, man, that's awesome. It's just me at my house, but still, like I said, if I need to wash just one small load of clothes and my bedding, that's actually a big load of stuff because the bed pad plus the blanket, the futon, the sheets, and all of that together, that's a big load of clothes. So being able to wash all of that at once and then to dry it all together at once is awesome. But now that I have free water, all of the water that I have at home through my washing machine is free because it's just constantly coming down from the mountain and going through the field in the back. So I can wash all day long and only pay the electricity for the washing machine, which is great. But the problem is the washing machine is not huge. So if I'm washing something that's not clothes, I can't put a lot in there. So if it's a thin blanket and a sheet, I can put two in there. If it's the futon, I can only put the futon in there. If it's my bed pad, I can only put the bed pad in there. So if I want to watch, and this is what I like to do. I don't know about you, but every once in a while, I don't know, maybe I prefer every week, but I don't usually do that. Maybe every 2 weeks, I like to take all of my bedding that I'm using and go wash it and dry it. And then I just put on my second set of bedding while the other is drying. But if it's really cold outside, I pretty much need more of my bedding. I don't have backup for warm bedding, not really. I have a second bed that I use for guests, and I tend to not touch that unless I wash it. If I wash it, I put it back and I leave it there. I don't move it over onto my bed. I leave it there just in case I have a guest. Um, but during the summer, it's easier because I don't need an AC in the house. It's cool. It's naturally cool. No matter how hot it is outside, it's always cool in the house. But I don't need to get, like a, a bunch of blankets to stay warm. So even on a night where the temperature goes down, because I know it sounds crazy, but during the summer at my house, it's possible that inside the house it gets down to 17 or 16 degrees Celsius. So you're talking about, I don't know, in the high 60s. It's possible it gets into the high 60s inside my house during the summertime. So you absolutely, definitely have to have a blanket, but you don't need the amount of blankets that you would need during the winter. That's for sure. Uh, if if you live in the region where my house is during the winter, the coldest temperature that I've seen so far, that I've actually seen with my own eyes, inside my house, okay, inside my house, minus 14. I just guessed that it was probably a little colder outside. However, my house doesn't have much in the way of insulation right now. So, but I will say that spending this time with Danny, DIY Japan Danny, has really, kind of motivated me to get more stuff done, get back to the house, build a case for my new tub. This is my new tub right here. And once I get that built and the pipes installed for the sink, I've got a sink, I've got the toilet, and I got the tub. I've already got the 3 things that I need. I've got the 3 fixtures I need. I just need to figure out how to get the pipes connected to the septic tank. But I also had to figure out how do I say this? Okay. Imagine, I'm sure all of you know what a septic tank is, okay? If you don't know what a septic tank is, it's very simple. Imagine a really big box, or a really big rectangular box made of like concrete, basically, okay? And it's in the ground. It's huge, and it's in the ground. And whenever you flush the toilet, or you use the toilet, or use the sink, and the water drains out and goes into the drain, instead of it being connected to the city sewer pipes, it's connected to this box, and it just drains in there, and it drops all your poop and all your toilet paper and all of your wastewater in that septic tank. That's what it's for, okay? It's for collecting all that. Obviously, these are for houses that can't connect, or don't want to connect, or haven't been connected to city water and sewage. Where I live, it's not possible to connect to city water and sewage because they don't offer it in that area. However, though I do have a septic tank, all right, okay, it's not up to code. And it was never built up to code from the beginning. Because if you look at it, from what I can tell, it looks like this is what happened. They dug a big rectangular hole in the ground, okay? Very deep rectangular hole. And then they stacked big, huge, big stones around it to make a wall, okay? I don't know if there are stones on the ground on the bottom. I'm going to guess there's not. I'm just going to guess that it's compacted dirt. That's a guess, okay? I don't know for sure. It's just a guess. But I know that the walls are stone, big stones, just like my stone walls. If you haven't seen what my stone walls look like, just go back and look in almost any of my videos where I'm outside, and you can see my stone walls either in front of the house or behind the house. The same types of stones. And then after that, they used some mortar and then later some cement to try to kind of fill the gaps and seal it a little bit. And obviously that wasn't done at the same time because the stones were there a long, long time ago. And then later on they added like the mortar and the cement and that stuff. But a couple of weeks ago, we had the biggest rain of the year so far in this area, in Hiroshima, not here in Tottori, around my home. It rained for several days straight, and it was heavy, just heavy, strong rain. It was so heavy, the water was just coming out of my wall in many, many places, just spurting out through my wall. And I looked up above the wall into that field behind, and it just looked like a mini ocean. It's just completely filled with water, and it was just coming through my wall. In my kura, that's where my septic tank is. It's located at the very front of my kura, my storage building, right by the road. So if you're looking at my house, if you're standing in front of my house, and over on the left is my kura, and it's facing the road, right in the front, on ground level, there's a door, and you walk inside that door and you look down, and that's where the septic tank is. The water from the rain, all of that rain, is getting into the septic tank. And it's not only getting into it, so that means it's leaking and letting water in, but when you look inside the middle part of the kura, you see that the water from inside the septic tank is leaking out. And trust me, you can tell by not just the smell, but by the look of it, That's from the inside of the septic tank. So, two problems. One problem is the rainwater is getting into the septic tank. That shouldn't happen. The second problem is the water from inside the septic tank is leaking out. That's also a problem. So, whenever you Danny and I were talking about this. Whenever you decide to do something, you're doing the renovation of your house, or you're doing a repair or something, or a remodel in your house, especially these old houses in Japan. What you run into a lot of times is a kind of cart before the horse thing. And sometimes you don't mean to do it. You don't mean to put the cart before the horse, but you're like, I need to put in a toilet as soon as possible. Okay, so you go and you buy a toilet, you bring it home, and then you realize, just for example, let's use my house for an example. You realize when you bring the toilet home, oh, I don't have a bathroom. This house never had a bathroom ever. It didn't have any pipes installed. It didn't have a bathroom set up. So where do I put it? So that's the first thing so you already have to go backwards. I've got the toilet. Whoops, I can't install the toilet. So, where do I put the bathroom? Okay, I'm going to put the bathroom in this back corner. This room is a good bathroom. Okay, great. But you still can't put the toilet in because there's no pipes, right? There's no sewage pipes. But the floor is also rotten. The floor is no good. You start to clean out the room because you can't even begin to do anything with the floor until you clean out the room. So you start cleaning out the room. The closet's full of junk and newspaper. The floor is full of stuff. There's a chest in there. You got to clean that out. You got to get everything cleaned out. Get it all cleaned out. And then you realize that the floor is rotten. Half the floor is rotten. So you can't put the toilet on that. So you have to tear all of that out. And then you're thinking, I'll just put down new boards. And then you can't do that either because a lot of the supports are rotten because there's been water underneath the house. There's water damage. There's termite damage. A lot of the wood is rotten. It's no good anymore. You have to tear all of that out and clean it up. And so you have no more frame. You have no more subfloor. You have no more joists. You have no more supports. It's just completely empty. There's nothing there. And you have to rebuild it. You have to put in your own joists. You have to put in your own framing around. If you haven't seen my video on that, you can go back and look because Jake helped me with that. We redid all of that. We tore everything out and redid everything. So we finally got in the supports, got in that subfloor, the insulation, the 1/2-inch plywood, got it all screwed down nice and tight, nice and strong. Put the cedar boards in there just to see what it would look like, and it looks really nice. And then it's like, okay, we can put the toilet in now, right? No. I did receive the toilet. I ordered one through Macari, and I got one for an excellent price. It arrived, and I set it in the bathroom, and it looks cool, but you think, okay, now I can drill a hole and connect it. No. Once again, you have to go backwards. Even if I drill a hole, put a pipe in, and run the sewage pipe out towards the septic tank, for those of you who don't do plumbing or haven't done plumbing, basically the idea is that whenever you're doing a sewage pipe from your toilet or a drain pipe from your sinks and everything out to your septic tank, for every foot, a foot is about this far, so for every foot of length of your pipe, it has to go down about 1 inch. So it has to constantly be going down at an angle from the point where it starts to the point where it empties out. It always has to be angled down, but it has to be 1 inch for every foot. And so you have to figure out that angle. And the thing about that is, even though my house is high off the ground, whenever that pipe gets outside, it can't be above the ground, right? So I have to run my pipe down to the ground, and then before it goes outside, I have to dig a trench. And the trench just gets deeper and deeper and deeper as the sewage pipe gets closer and closer to the septic tank. And the septic tank, like I told you, is in the front of the kura. So I have to run my pipe trench all the way to the tank. But if you remember from what I said earlier, the septic tank is surrounded by huge stones. It's not just like a cinder block barrier. I can't just buy a hole saw or something and cut a hole in it. So I have to figure out how to break through those rocks, because the pipe has to be pretty deep. By the time the pipe gets to that septic tank, it's going to be, I don't know, maybe it's going to be a couple feet deep, maybe, just to make sure that the water flow is good, and that all the junk in the pipe drains out, because you don't want any standing water. You need at least that 1 inch for every foot of pipe, so that there's no standing water in your pipe, that it always drains out. It always drains out. So I have to trench it down deep enough, then lay the pipe down and break through that stone wall. And at that point, when I was just getting ready to figure out how to do that, I realized after that big rain that my septic tank was leaking. So water was getting into it from the rain, not pouring over the top, just going in through the stone and then going out through the stone. It's not overflowing, it's just getting out through the cracks. So then I realized I can't just break the stone and run the pipe in there and connect my toilet and be happy. I can't do that. I've got to get that septic tank sealed or fixed somehow first, and then get the pipe hooked up to it, and then get my toilet hooked up. You see? So that's the thing. Like I mentioned, Danny and I discussed this concept. If you're thinking about getting an old house in Japan, or anywhere for that matter, and you're going to do some work, you have to figure out which order you need to do things. And sometimes you don't realize that in order to do this one particular thing, you're going to have to do 3 or 4 other things first. Or you should do those other things first. Otherwise, you're going to have to do double or triple work. You'll have to go back, undo something, fix it, and then do some other things before you can move forward. Or you'll create something that's just temporary and not permanent and not long lasting. And either you or somebody else will have to go in and fix it down the road. So you have to ask yourself, how long do you need it to last? And does it matter to you? Is it a safety hazard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And for me, right now with my house, there are some issues with the main support under the middle of the house that I need to work on. It's going to be a lot of work. That's the main focus when I get back home. The septic tank, getting it sealed and getting the pipe hooked to it is the second thing. And the third thing is getting up on the roof and fixing those metal pieces. So, but everything has steps. You can't just go in there. So when somebody tells me, why haven't you done this yet? Why don't you go do that? Well, it's not that easy. You can't just immediately go in and do one particular thing first, right? I would love to just go ahead and, because right now it's so awesome. Look at this, man. Right here, I have the tub. I have a full-size tub right here. It's so awesome, isn't it? It's so cool. I have a sink that Evelyn gave me. It's a really nice porcelain sink from Akiya, and it matches the tub. It's the same color as the tub. And I also have a toilet, a ceramic toilet that I got on Mercari. And the sink was a gift. The toilet and the tub together cost less than a brand new toilet cost right now in the store. I mean, I've spent almost nothing to get these. Of course, I had to drive to get the tub. But still, if I bought this thing brand new, it would have costed a lot more. And I still saved a lot by getting this. But even though I have the sink, the tub, and the toilet, and it looks great, it's perfect, it matches, everything is great, go ahead and hook them up so I can use them. It's not that simple. And the reason it's not that simple is because where am I going to drain it? How am I going to drain it into the septic tank? I might could put a temporary pipe that runs across the ground if the angle is good enough and run it out there. But I still haven't fixed the leaking problem, right? About the water going in and the water going out and the sewage coming out. That really should be fixed. So I have to think about how to get those things done and get them done in the proper order. And that's the thing that you should consider whenever you're doing any work at whatever property you have or might have in the future. I've been kind of rambling on about this. Let me see. I don't know if any of you have any other comments right now. Let's see. I don't see any. I hope something I've said has been useful. I didn't mean to get into a rant about all this stuff, but it was on my mind, so I figured I would share it. But anyway, I see a lot of the high school students walking out, so I guess it must be that time of the day. It's 4 o'clock, so they must be heading home. Anyway, I'm going to check my other messages. That's pretty much it for me right now. I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me. I'm very, very close to having 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, on my channel. And two main things to get monetized on YouTube. One is 4,000 watch hours from your viewers over the past 365 days. And then the second thing is to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm still quite a ways from 1,000 subscribers. I need like 125 or something. I can't remember how many I have. I have like 875 or something. I don't know why. Maybe my channel is just not so interesting or so appealing. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's me, isn't it? It's me. Oh my God. No, but yeah, seriously, my subscriber count has just been like a turtle. It's been crawling so slowly. It's like, 1 to 4 every few days or something, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But if I can get that up to 1,000, then I'm sure that my watch hours will be over 4,000 because I'm like knocking at the door of that. If you haven't seen all of my videos, I encourage you to go back and check them out because every minute you watch can help me out right now. Just every minute, every hour that I get from viewers on my videos right now will help me get over that 4,000 mark. When I checked this morning, I only needed 13 more hours. That's not much. So 13 more watch hours from my viewers will put me over that 4,000 mark, and then the only thing I have to do from there is finish getting the rest of my subscribers, and then I'll start getting my $5 or $10 a month from YouTube. It's going to be almost nothing right now because I don't have very many views. But anyway, oh hey Andy, how's it going? We're in Kyoto, just arrived this afternoon. Oh man, you just missed me. I headed out just a little while ago. Just this morning, I headed out of North Kyoto. I was up in Ine visiting Danny, but I spent about a day and a half in Kyoto. It's really nice there. I don't know if you've been there before, but definitely enjoy your trip. I went to Nijo Castle, and that was pretty much the highlight of my trip. The Internationalist says, seems like so much work. Why not just buy a cheap property? I guess you don't know how cheap my property was. My property was about the cheapest you can possibly buy in Japan. Total price, the sell price, just the sell price was basically about $2,000, but with taxes and some other fees and stuff, it was over $3,000. You also have to pay the agent fees and taxes, scrivener fees, and later on you get some other fees like acquiring a property fee and some other things. So that price goes up, but the literal sell price for my property was just $2,000. So I don't know what you're talking about when you say get a cheaper property. Maybe you mean buy a cheap property that doesn't need the repair. That's very difficult to do. It's easy to find a property that already has the septic tank or the city water and everything fixed that you need. but you're not going to buy that for two or three or $10,000 or $20,000. That's going to be much higher. If you want a property that requires much less in the way of money for renovations, then you're talking about spending probably no less than $35,000 to $50,000, and that's the reality of it. If that's what you mean by cheap property, then yes, you can spend $50,000 or $60,000 for a place that's kind of outside the city that doesn't need as much renovation. But my place is huge. I have 6 buildings. I have private land. I don't have neighbors right on me. It only cost me a couple $1,000s initially. So, what do you mean by cheap property? Yeah, Glenn, thank you. Take care. Thank you for coming in, man. And I do really look forward to chatting with you later this year, and I'm sure we'll talk again in this medium or privately between now and then as well. You Internationalist says time is money. Time is money. Well, that's a very vague statement. It's a popular catchphrase, but it doesn't really mean anything. Heard you can get a property for $350,000. Well, you have the dollar sign there. Are you talking about $350,000? If you're talking about $350,000, that is definitely not a cheap property anywhere. Maybe if you're in Beverly Hills, that's a cheap property, but in Japan, that's not. Yeah, Glenn said you can get an absolute mansion for that much. Yeah, in Japan, if you spend $350,000, you're going to get a really amazing property that you don't have to do anything in. You don't have to do any renovations. You just move right in, and it's clean. You can walk in your bare feet, and your feet won't get dirty. You know, it's completely renovated and finished. $350,000 for a property in Japan, number one, is not cheap in the way of price, okay? That's very expensive. But the second thing is, it's not going to need anything. If you want to modify it, you can, but all of the renovations will be finished, and you won't have to do anything except move your ass in. You know, just grab your bags and move in. It's going to have everything already. Maybe it won't have all the furniture that you want or need or appliances, but the house itself will be 100% complete and beautiful and clean. Glenn says, I'm looking at walk in and live properties for 50,000. Yeah, man, it's possible. 50,000 Australian dollars. Yes, it is absolutely possible. Now, obviously, you're not going to find a place like that in the middle of Kyoto City. For some reason, everybody wants to be in Kyoto, and I don't get it. I mean, there's some nice matcha there, and understand that, but there are several reasons not to like Kyoto. No place is perfect, but I will say that I'd like to live in Kyoto sometimes, but to be there all the time and have my main home there, I'm not so sure about that. I've lived in a few different places in Japan now, and I've lived in a few different places in China. And out of all of those places, if I had to say which one of those places has the best combination of the best weather and the nicest people, okay, just those two things. Overall, nicest weather, climate, let's say climate, okay, climate, not weather, but climate. And nicest people, overall, those two things. Definitely Hiroshima. Absolutely. Easy. Hands down. Now, the people in Tokyo are not rude, but do you know what blinders are? Blinders are kind of like what they put on the horses when they're racing. They put the blinders on the horses so the horses don't see the other horses and they don't get scared and that sort of thing. They can only see straight. So they put the blinders on. But people in Tokyo are very similar to that. A lot of people in Tokyo, they walk around and they live their lives with these blinders on. And basically, it's not because they're being rude. It's just because, you know, they don't want to bother anyone, but they expect to not be bothered also. So if you stop somebody on the street and say, excuse me, they're like, what? You know, they're a little surprised because they don't expect to be bothered in a situation where you wouldn't normally talk to somebody because they have kind of the blinders thing. I mean, there was one time in Ueno where a lady was walking along with her baby. She had a stroller, and she had some kind of scarf on the stroller, and the scarf fell on the ground, and she kept going. She didn't see it. So I called out to her, and she's just kept going along. She had no idea I was talking to her. So I went and I picked it up, and I ran over to her, and I tapped her on the shoulder, and I held up the scarf, and she just jumped like this, like she turned around, like looked at me like, what? And I held up the scarf, and she just kind of looked at it and blinked, and it took her a moment to realize, oh, that's my scarf. And I pointed at the ground, and to show her that she dropped it, and then she was like, oh, arigato gozaimasu, arigato gozaimasu, and she took it. But that's kind of a very common thing in Tokyo, where it's like somebody taps you on the street or talks to you on the street. It's just not really done, at least not during the day and not in normal regular areas. But it's not because they're rude. It's actually kind of the opposite. It's like they don't want to bother anybody, but they expect also to not be bothered. Uh, and they don't get annoyed if you bother them. They just act surprised because they're not expecting it. However, my impression in places like Kyoto, especially Osaka, those areas, people have less patience, and not not as quick in general, especially out on the street. Okay, and in the general public, not as cordial at all as other places I've been in Japan, and it's interesting because now if you're in Shibuya at night in Tokyo, people are very open and talkative, and will even talk to you in English, because it's a much younger area and more of a party area, and so they're much more open and vibrant there than other places. So if you want to go to a place where the people seem more loose and more open, and you're just willing to chat or whatever, you can go hang out there in the evening, go check out some live music. Koji plays there sometimes. My friend Koji, if you're watching this, Koji, I just gave you a plug. But yeah, there's some good live music there. However, I noticed that in Hiroshima, as I'm just kind of wandering around the city, sometimes people just randomly start talking to me in English, and ask me where I'm from, and ask me where I'm going, and then they try to help me if I need to get there. And of course, I don't need any help. I don't need any help getting to where I'm going. But they will ask me, where are you going? And then say, do you know how to get there? Yeah, I know how to get there. But it's so interesting because I didn't expect the people there to be nicer to foreigners, but they are. They seem to be more open, more engaging, more just kinder, and not as shocked or surprised or taken off guard to have foreigners talk to them. So I just feel more comfortable actually dealing with the locals. I think it's a great place to live. And of course, if you live kind of north of the city, the area where I live, I don't think you necessarily have to live that far north. I live in North Higashi Hiroshima in what's called Toyosaka. That's at the very far end. Just before you get to Miyoshi, you'll see that's where my house is. But man, the summertime is so nice there. The average temperature is 27 Celsius, so it's in the 70s. And even if it gets hot, it's not really that bad there. And if you go inside, if you have an old house like I do, you go inside, immediately it feels like the AC is on. It's nice and cool in the house all summer long. Now, the catch is that during winter, it gets really cold. So you really need to insulate the house as best you can and figure out a way to get yourself warm. So anyway, let's see here. But yeah, Glenn, you said you're looking at 50,000 Australian dollar houses. Definitely possible. Love the countryside and the coastal areas, access to a city, but not to live in the city. Absolutely can do it. If you want to live in the city for $50,000, a place that you don't really have to renovate, good luck with that. But on the fringes of the city, absolutely. And dude, you can absolutely get a place that is within public transportation distance, about an hour from the city. Absolutely. It's a challenge in places like Tokyo because everybody's trying to do that. but I really don't think that the weather is as nice in around Tokyo. And I also think that the area I'm in is one of the lowest earthquake zones in all of Japan. So as long as you get a place that doesn't have to worry about heavy snowstorms, landslides, flooding, and things like that, as long as you do your research on those things, then this area is very safe. And of course, you should check out your hazard maps. And by law, the agents are required to give you that information before you buy, to show you the hazard maps and the dangers of the area that you're in. But you can do some of your own research, because you can look online and you can see some of the hazard maps of Japan, which areas have more earthquakes than others, which areas have lots of landslides, flooding, snowstorms, etc. And absolutely, these are things you should consider whenever you look for a place. But if you take those things into consideration, use common sense, good judgment, and then look for a place kind of an hour outside of a main city, you can definitely do it for $50,000. If I'd had $50,000 to get a place, I probably would have done the same thing. I would have gotten a place that didn't need anything, because my first primary goal was to get a place that I could use as a business. I really want to be able to rent a place out and then make some money and get another place and then make some more money and just keep growing and growing and growing, build kind of a series of former Akiya that I can rent out to people who want to stay there, or for like short-term rental, Airbnb, etc., or to people who want to open like a shop or a cafe or whatever. Um, Whatever. I want to turn it into a business. So I do like my house, and I want to stay there sometimes. But more than anything, I want it to be like a retreat, a really nice holiday home for people to stay in. And that's my goal. That's my personal goal. But anyway, it is starting to get a little muggy in here. Let's do a project together. Well, if you have some ideas, feel free to message me. You can either leave a comment below the video, or you can go to my about page on my main channel page. My email is there. It's englishvira@gmail.com. But if you check it out on my about page, it's right there. You can just send me a direct email. But that's pretty much it for now. I'm hoping that I'll be able to meet Michael here tonight, and I've got to get checked in. I think I can get checked in to this little capsule hotel here locally, and go ahead and drop my stuff off into the nearby coin laundry before it gets too late, and go ahead and relax here for the night in Tottori. Thank you all for joining. I'm glad that you decided to spend a little bit of time with me, and I will see you next time. Look forward to some update videos coming very soon. I'm going to show you just a little bit about my time with Danny DIY Japan, and then after that, I'm going to get right to doing some work in the house. I'm feeling more energized and motivated, so I think visiting with Danny helped me out, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you in the near future. Until then, as always, I will say arigatou gozaimasu, thank you, and ja ne. Bye bye.